She told me those words on the night I asked her to marry me. I had spent weeks planning the proposal, saving money for a ring I thought she would love, and rehearsing what I wanted to say. When she said, yes, my heart leapt, but then her smile faded, and she added those devastating words, I'll marry you, but first I want one last night with my ex. At first, I thought she was joking. I laughed nervously, waiting for her to take it back. But she didn't. She looked at me with serious eyes, as if what she had just asked was normal, as if she could really expect me to accept such a condition. My stomach twisted, and my hands trembled. I asked her why. Why would she even want that? She sighed, saying that her relationship with her ex had never truly ended in her heart. She told me she needed closure, one last night to say goodbye properly. She swore it didn't mean she didn't love me. She claimed it was just something she had to do to move on. Her words broke me. I loved her deeply, more than anyone I had ever known. But the thought of her with another man, even for one night, made me sick. Still, I hesitated. I didn't want to lose her. My mind raced with fear that if I refused, she might leave me entirely and go back to him for good. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay awake replaying her words again and again. I imagined her in someone else's arms, and the pain was unbearable. Yet my heart was weak, chained to her promises of a future together. I convinced myself that maybe, just maybe, if I let her do this, she would come back fully mine. The next morning, I tried to talk sense into her. I told her that marriage should begin with trust, not betrayal. I begged her to reconsider. She listened quietly, holding my hand, but in the end she only repeated that if I truly loved her, I would understand her need. Days passed, and I became a shell of myself. I couldn't eat, couldn't work, couldn't think straight. I kept looking at her, wondering how I could marry someone who was willing to hurt me like this. I saw the selfishness in her eyes, but also the power she had over me. She knew I loved her too much to walk away easily. Finally, she made her move. One evening, she told me she was going out. I didn't need to ask where. My heart already knew. I sat at home in silence, staring at the engagement ring I had given her. Every tick of the clock cut into me like a blade. I imagined everything happening in that room with her ex, and it destroyed me. When she returned in the morning, she acted casual, even cheerful. She kissed my cheek and told me she was ready to be my wife now, as if nothing had happened. Her words felt like poison. She had crossed a line that could never be repaired, and yet she expected me to carry on as though it didn't matter. I looked at her differently then. The woman I thought was my soulmate now seemed like a stranger. She had chosen her desire over my dignity, her closure over my love. Something in me hardened that day. I realized that marrying her would mean a lifetime of pain, mistrust, and humiliation. So I did what I should have done the moment she asked for that night. I told her it was over. She laughed at first, thinking I was bluffing. But when she saw the finality in my eyes, her smile faded. She begged, she cried, she even promised that what happened meant nothing. But I was done. Walking away was the hardest thing I've ever done. Every step felt like tearing a piece of my soul out of my chest. But deep down, I knew I deserved more than someone who would treat me like an option. Love without respect is not love, it's a chain. Now, months later, I still feel the ache, but also the freedom. I learned that real love doesn't ask for conditions that shatter trust. And though I lost her, I kept something far more important, my self-respect. Because in the end, I realized one truth. If someone truly loves you, they would never ask for one last night with someone else.